Hello, it's Deborah from the attic, and I want to show you some pages that I've added to my Etsy shop. These are called Woodland Mist, and there are 10 backgrounds and 3 tags and 3 lozenges. I'll provide all of the links below the video. Just look in the read more description box. And for the moment, let me just flip you through these. I absolutely, even though I say it myself, and I probably shouldn't, I really like these. I like the atmosphere that these capture, and I've spent quite a lot of time gazing out of the window because at this time of the year, when I open the shutters in the house that I'm living in France, it's very misty outside. It's lovely and cool and fresh now after the intense heat of the summer. And these pages, I wanted to have a misty, ethereal quality to them. I was trying to capture the sense of stillness and almost mystery when I look out of the windows each morning, and I get a view up to the hill, up towards some walnut trees, and this is a sort of misty thing that I'm seeing. And I think these would make really nice tags or background journal pages that would really capture the sense of this time of year. I've added a little bit of text to these, but of course you can use these to either write in the empty spaces or add a panel of paper over the top and just use this as your background. Let the colours and the shapes and the images and the softness inspire you. This is the bonus sheet that I always include with my background pages. This is a set of 3 tags, and they evoke the same sorts of images and style and palette that I've used in the 10 background pages. And I've also added these 3 little lozenges, and each of these will fit exactly within the boundaries of the tag. So you could add any of these lozenges to any of these tags. And I also want you to use these tags as inspiration for what you might like to do. I'm going to make something using these background sheets, and I'm starting with my page that has the 3 tags on it because I'm hoping that they will fit in one of these coffee pod separator things I got. It's part of some packaging I got with some coffee capsules, so I think that these will fit. So they'll go widthwise and I think they'll go heightwise, so that's great. So I want to incorporate these into my make, and I've got some plain black A4 card. I've got a couple of sheets of this that I want to use as well, and I want to make a concertina book with, I want a little pocket in the middle where I imagine the 2 pieces will overlap. So I'm going to give that a go. First thing then, I'm going to get my scissors and get cracking on cutting out these backgrounds. I've taken my black piece of card and I've cut away the bottom section so the top piece now measures 5.5 inches tall, and that's because that's a great height into which I can fit my tags. And I'm going to score this at 3 inches. So 3 inches will make a really nice width for my tag. It's not all about the tags, but that's where I'm starting my measurements from. I've got 2 pieces of card that I'm going to score, and this is the second one. And then I'm going to emphasise the creases. I'm not exactly certain which way the creases will go for the moment, but that's okay. You can always flip these over the other way if it needs to go that way, and with a crease in place it's much easier to just fold in reverse, if that makes sense. I've cut away and discarded the extra little piece of card. When I say discarded, I'll probably use it in another project. And what I'm going to do now is create the centre, and I'm going to do that by overlapping the 2 end pieces, and I'm going to glue down the side, the bottom, and then up the other side. And I'm just going to pop them on top of each other like this. Leave a tiny little millimetre to make the fold line easier, and check it just before everything is glued solidly in place, just to make sure everything folds nice and easily, and it does. And then to help me find this centre a little more easily, I'm going to use a punch. This is a 3/4 inch round hole punch, and I'm going to cut a semicircle. So I'm going to turn the punch upside down so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to hopefully position it somewhere, somewhere in the middle of this edge, and I'm going to go bonk like that. And then I've got this nice little reminder that I have got a pocket here, and then I can begin to go to work cutting down my papers, choosing the nicest part of each paper to use as a focal point on each of these sides of my folding journal. I really like these because they're so quick and easy to put together, and you only need sort of minimal equipment, some glue, some scissors, a hole punch. If you have a hole punch, this is a really great thing to have. And then if you've got a little bit of packaging hanging around, then you can use this as well. We've got some interesting things going on with the lighting because we're under natural light and the sun is coming through the window in such a way that it's casting some shadows, which may or may not be a nice thing. But I wanted to show you the story so far. So this is where I've got to, and I've used those 2 black cardboard pieces of packaging from my my coffee pods to create this, and I've kept the little cutout area, and I've cut out a piece from the papers to match this little notch here. And then I went and had a little dig around in my stamps, and I found some really nice stamps here that got some trees on them and some numbers and some other little textures on them. And I've stamped out a little bit extra on these. I use whatever stamps you have, and I've used Distress Oxide ink to do that. And I've also then got a little brush and I've inked around the edges to add a little bit more interest and darkness as well. I'm quite happy for this piece to be nice and dark. And then in this little piece here, I've actually just glued it on the sides and the base so that I can use it as a tuck spot. So this is where I would put my sort of secret journaling. I like journaling that is private, tucked away, and then you rediscover it maybe a little while later once you've completed your journal, and it's a nice surprise. And these pages I've chosen because, and I've cut them down so that they will fit easily inside this pocket because they're nice and light to write on. So the imaging is nice and soft, and it means that you can write on those nice and easily. If you wanted to use a piece of paper that's got some stronger imaging on the front, leave the back white as I have here, and then you can journal on the reverse. But I quite like having the option of writing on these front or back, and because they're sort of hidden away and tucked away in this little spot here, they remain private. Then I've cut out a couple of tags so that I can put a tag at the top of my page. I've done that on both sides, and I've done that on the front and the back of my flip out journal. And I've started addling. I've started addling. It's a great thing. You want to get into that. I've started adding the pages. Some of them I've left blank. The ones that I've glued in at the moment, I've just left blank around the edges. Some other ones that I'm about to glue in, I've done some inking around the edges, and it just creates a little bit more variety. And with this one, because I've got my centre pocket where I cut out a notch and I've placed a tag, let me just quickly show you that tag. I've cut down one of the tags from the kit, and it's this one that's got the numbers on it, and then I've backed it with another piece of paper from one of the other sheets, so that sits in that central pocket. But in the next thing that I want to do is I want to cover over this panel. So I've cut down my piece of paper so that the notch sort of fits ish and I'm going to glue the next of these panels into place, and then I'll show you where I've got to after that, because I want to show you a couple of extra little tricks with things that you might have lying around, such as this is that sort of tape that you get for gluing on or holding together bandages, you know, if you get a hurty. And I also have been playing around with one of these little, I don't even know what you call these things, but they're what you use to make words, and I quite like that, and it works beautifully on this colourway. It's perfect for that. And I want to talk to you about this glue stick, so stay tuned. I wanted to make a little two-sided booklet that would just fit into this pocket I've created with the notch here, and I thought I'll just staple these two bits of paper together. But then I thought it might be more fun to use this. This is the sort of tape that you get to hold together bandages after accidents, I suppose. So I'm going to just work out roughly how long it needs to be. I'm going to cut it down, and I'm going to stick it stick these two pieces together, try and get them equal. And this doesn't have to be terribly neat. I think it would spoil it if it was too neat and too perfect. So that gets me off the hook with that one. And then I've got my brush and I've got some black soot distress oxide, and I'll just give that a little bit of colour to take the whiteness away. So that can now be added into my little booklet here. And that's another place that I can add a little bit of secret journaling. What I wanted to show you with this, that I don't know the name of, this thing, is that you can prepare your own little labels. And I've done exactly that because the colours work beautifully. I think black and white is a very effective way to make a greeting. So if you were making greeting cards, for example, and you wanted to make it personal, you could put the person's name on it. You could use these things to create a happy birthday so-and-so message. I think that's really nice. So I've added that to the front of my little booklet, and on the back I've taken one of the lozenges that were part of the kit and I've glued that onto the reverse as well. And the thing that I wanted to say about this glue stick is just how much fun these sorts of glues are. It's a long time since I've used this sort of thing. It's like a Pritt stick. This one is actually called Gloo, G-L-O-O. I got it in a kit. I can't now remember what the kit was that it came in. I'm really sorry. I've tried to sort of look back and think where I got it from, and I'm really not sure. But it's just like a Pritt stick, except this one is square, and it's got this blue colour. And the idea is that with the blue, it will show up for a short time and then it will disappear. And it's very, very fast to disappear. So if you need something that is going to sort of show you where it is and then go, no, not here anymore, this sort of thing is quite good fun. But they're just so easy to use, because generally I use a Beacon 3-in-1 glue, especially when I'm gluing on papers. But this morning I've switched to using this. It was just ready to hand. I thought, I wonder how good that would be. And you know, it's been absolutely brilliant. And you just go up and down, glue it down, and it's superb. But like I say, it's just this sort of a Pritt stick. So I'm planning on, next time I'm anywhere near a Pritt stick, I'm going to buy it, because those sorts of things are quite good, and they're cheaper, I think, than this glue. This glue is brilliant. I absolutely love this, and I use it on loads of projects, but it is pricey. So if you're looking for something that's a bit cheaper, that would be a good option. The Pritt stick style thing would be a good option. And the other thing is that it still glues the paper on nice and flat. So generally I avoid liquid glues because sometimes they can leave a sort of a line underneath your paper that you can't get rid of. But the stick glue and the Beacon 3-in-1 glue avoid that problem. So let's have a flip through of the finished piece. It's quite robust, it's quite sturdy, and I think it's a great size for adding photographs. If you take any photographs when you're out on autumnal walks, it's nice to add them into something like this, and maybe you can make some little notes below the photo. I wanted to show you another way that you could use it. So I've taken one of the tags that forms part of the set, and I've just run a line of glue along the top, and you can use that for journaling underneath. I've also taken some notes from a notepad I got in a recent kit, and I've done them like a post-it note, except that you can't re-stick them. So I've just run a line of glue at the top, so that if I want I can journal underneath here, so right this way up, and then it's hidden, it's private. Or I could rip the top off, so I could rip the top piece away and use that to journal on, and maybe stick it in one of the pockets or pop it in the top here with the tags. But I thought it might be a useful thing to know that you can add post-it notes to this, because I've done it on this side as well. So I've got my back here, and I've put this on to help me recognise that that is the back, because when you're folding it up it can get a bit sort of like, ooh, not sure what the back is. And I've done the same with one of my tags here, just glued it across the top and added it onto the top of one of the panels. And then I've taken another post-it note. This is a proper post-it note pad from a vintage kit I got recently, and this one you can just peel away. And you can write on the reverse, and you could stick that on a different panel if you wanted to, or you could just pop it back on this little bundle here. And then I've got 2 or 3 of those. So when you're thinking about where and how you want to do your journaling, there's nothing to stop you using post-it notes. And there's some very beautiful styles of post-it notes available at the moment. So this is my final page, and then of course in the middle is, this is a tag from the kit that I've cut down so that it will fit inside here, because obviously the glue lines down both sides mean that I've reduced a little bit of the space. But cutting down that tag means that it can slot in there, and then a nice bit of matching ribbon in the top, and that is my journal complete. And then I've made a tiny little one. So if you remember, I took an A4 sheet and I cut off the bottom. I preserved the bottom piece, and this is what I did with it. I've used that beautiful ribbon. It's a sort of a purpley bluey ribbon, and it fits really nicely with this style. And I've done exactly the same. I've made little panels. I've cut out paper from the kit to stick on the little panels. And then where I've joined the 2 panel pieces together here, I've created a pocket and I've cut out a little gap in the top here. That's quite helpful. It means that I know where the center is, and I also have a little pocket that I can drop something into in there. So those are 2 ways that you could use these background papers. Of course you could use them to make a journal, but I've shown you how to make numerous journals. I thought it'd be fun to do something a little bit different. So those are my 2 examples. So I hope you found that useful. I'll provide all of the links to my Etsy shop and where you can find this kit below the video. Just look in the read more description box. If you haven't already, please subscribe, please hit the notification bell, and if you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please click the like button. That really helps with my YouTube analytics. Until we meet again, stay safe and take care.